Wait.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Gigsy Creator Central. I'm your host, Arvind, and joining me is none other than founder and CEO, Vikram Parthan.
Hi.
Today, we are going to be talking about something that not was, but probably is one of the most important marketing activities that you can ever do when it comes to turning your passion into profit. And by that, I mean creating and executing your marketing calendar. Now, a little bit of background history about Gigsy and stuff like that. I was not there at the very early beginnings of Gigsy. So when Vikram and his team, right, when they started uh, creating marketing assets and creating marketing collateral, they started using this software called Trello. Now, this software is quite a powerful one, and believe it or not, their organic process, right, when they started implementing all sorts of ideas that they've stolen from, let's say, like for example, agile methodology or project management or running stand-ups and on all of those things, right? Over time, they essentially coalesced, right? A hodgepodge collection of actions that you could take to make into a viable process that's going to help you grow your business. Now, obviously, that was before I joined the team, and considering that I've been doing marketing since 2006. Oh goodness, I feel super old. What's been happening is that this was my job, right? And I've been learning how to do this. I've been doing this for the longest time. And today, in this session, for every single creator who's there watching us right now, and someone who's going to be watching this in the future, stick around. I'm going to teach you how you can actually go ahead and create a marketing calendar. All right. So to start things off, I'm going to be sharing my particular tool, which is again, like I'd said, it's based on Trello, Trello.com. Now, it's a very useful tool, and I've used it for a number of different purposes and a number of different ideas. And if you have any questions on this, just go ahead and put it out in the chat box. I will answer. But what you're seeing on the screen right now is basically a um, sample marketing calendar. It's not the exact one that we use within Gixie or the one that I use for my own personal branding efforts, but this is a simplified version that you can go ahead and use for your own passion based business. All right. So Trello is quite simple. It works like this, right? Everything in Trello is a board. As you can see, I have a number of different um, boards available, and inside each board, what you can see are different lists. So researching and ideas is one list, first draft, editing, and there are a whole host of lists that are available. Inside each list, you can actually see that there are a number of different cards that are available. And believe it, when you're using this on a touchscreen system like an iPad or an Android tablet, the mere act of dragging stuff around from one list to the other is so satisfying. And one of the best experiences that you can have on Trello is essentially tracking a card that's been pending on your list for the longest time into that done list. It's very therapeutic. All right, but let's unpack this whole marketing calendar that we are looking at, right? So as you can see, there are a number of different lists, and what each list indicates is a step or a phase in the process that I recommend that you follow to go ahead and create as well as execute your marketing content, collateral, and efforts, right? Everything starts off with research or ideas. And for the purposes of this example, I am referring to my upcoming podcast, right? So, where I'm interviewing people doing different sorts of interesting things. And what happens is I have to essentially collate a number of different ideas. So, some of the ideas that I have, and you can see that here. One of them is habits, another one is mushroom growth. Yes, growing mushrooms is a cottage industry that's quite popular in Bangalore. Another one is puppy care. Then we have Dungeons and Dragons. We have modeling. Yes, I was actually a. Uh, can I say it, Vikram? Is that allowed? Can I share that deep dark secret of my life? Well, since you so vehemently disagree, the secret is this. Once upon a time, I was a model. I think it was about, what, 30, maybe 40 kilos ago. Yeah, a couple of my photographs hung in food courts. maybe that was a sign. So anyway, modeling is an idea. You have photography as well as the Bhagavad Gita. These are all concepts and ideas that I want to explore in the podcast. Now, when I want to go ahead and do this, right, I can just go ahead and let's say if I want to add another idea, and I'm going to call it stand-up meetings, right? This is a very important and a critical concept of our Gigsy culture slash fabric, right? Stand-up meetings. Vikram absolutely adores them, and well, I attend them. You know how it goes, right? So basically, that's what we're doing. All right. So I've just added this card. Now, when I'm adding a card, you can see that there are a number of different things that pop up, right? So all I've done is I've added that card. I did that by clicking on add another card, typing out stand-up meetings, and then pressing enter. Pops up.
You
I
should probably tell people that each card is akin to a post-it, so that it's a lot more easier to visualize. Yeah.
that's
So
that's a very 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 good analogy, Vikram. Thank you for that. So, like Vikram says, each card can be a post-it, but of course, it's a lot more powerful considering that it's digital. And you can add a number of different things to it. Now, since we're talking about a solo business, as you as an individual creator, you probably wouldn't have too much of use for this, but you could assign other people to this card. Right now on this board, there's only me, but there could be other cards that you want to assign people to. You can assign labels. And now I've already defined certain labels in advance. All you got to do is click on create a new label. And then you can choose like, okay, I want it to be of this color and I want to call this comedy, right? Now let's say that. Now, if I have chosen this label, it's going to pop up over here. Apart from that, I can also add another, like as many labels as I want. And of course, I can remove them by, whoops, I can just remove them by clicking on it once again, right? So let's say that it's related to Gixie and it's comedy for some reason. Okay, so that's done. I can also add additional checklists, right? So I can say stuff like send out calendar invite, add guests, record interview, stuff like that, right? So I've done that. And then, of course, I can set due dates in case there are deadlines. It's very, very useful when it comes to your planning. So today's the 15th. So let's say it's got to be done by the 22nd. I'm saving that, and you can see the due date pop up as well. If you wish to attach, let's say perhaps a Google Drive link or maybe something from your computer, you can do that as well in case it's relevant. Right. So that's pretty much all that I'm going to be doing in this card, right? So now let's say that's what I'm going to be doing in the first phase. So when you are making your marketing calendar, the first thing that you want to do is to go ahead and start brainstorming all sorts of different content that you could create. Now, for example, if I was going to be creating content about, let's say, yoga, right? So I could be creating content on, let's say, yoga for weight loss, yoga for working adults, yoga during COVID times, yoga for teenagers, yoga for stress relief. All I'm doing is I'm just brainstorming a bunch of different ideas. And all of those ideas will go into this list, researching slash ideas. Now, of course, this is not a list that's ever going to be empty. Okay, you never want that to be empty. You want to find ideas of things that you can create. You want to collect all of them in this list. You can hold separate brainstorming sessions to do this. You could, look at what everybody else in the competition, your competition's actually doing. You can do that as well. You could also look at what is it that your audience wants. Speak to them, get that list, and put it all over here. All right. Now, after that, what we're going to do is now let's say that, okay, I have this. Now I'm going to be planning for a certain calendar, right? So when I'm planning for a calendar, I'm going to say that, hey, okay, I have chosen this. And what we need to do is, uh, I'm terribly sorry, but
hi,
we have a new guest for our
hi Maya.
webinar.
Let's say
Uh,
hi, hi.
so you see, guys, sometimes what happens is, especially when you're being a creator, you have to realize that things don't always go as you plan. Sometimes you have welcome interruptions that unfortunately become unwelcome, and things that you didn't plan for actually happening, and that's a good thing. The reason being, this sort of a system, right, Trello as such, it's this tool, and this particular template that you're using in Trello is very, very flexible. So in case something does pop up out of the ordinary, you don't have to completely lose it, right? You can very easily move stuff around, you can plan stuff around, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to convey in this particular session. Now let's say
What
that
what I can
yeah,
also add, right, is the fact that Trello has a mobile app as well.
it does. It gives you notifications when things are due. You can work this entire system from there as well, plus the dragging and
Yep.
dropping is a lot of fun. That's true. All right, so let's try something. Okay, I'm going to say that my piece of content based on habits, I'm going to set a due date for that on the 29th. Okay, and then I'm going to set I think I'm going to set the due date for the modeling bit in November 5th. Okay, and I'm going to be setting the mushroom growth on the 12th of November. Okay, so this is what I've planned, that hey, this is the kind of content that I need to get out of my system, right? So I'm just going to sort all the cards that are available by due date. And I can see, oh, wait, there was another one that I had missed. Stand-up meetings is actually due on the 22nd. So then what happens is, like, I realize that, hey, this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to work on. So what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to take that, I'm going to drag it into the first draft. This means that I'm creating the rough content, the first draft of the content. Now, if it's going to be an interview, this is where you would, conduct the interview. And once it's done, you're going to place this card over here. Or if it is writing a blog post, you're going to be finishing that. You're going to be placing it here. If it is recording a video, same thing, right? So that's why I've kind of called it like first draft slash, you could even call this content creation, right? So once it's done, what you want to do is you want to make sure that all the like all the content that you're creating, once you're done with all of that, right, you add it into the list. You just drag that here. Now, of course, you're not going to be releasing the first draft of the content itself, right? You want to be doing some processing, some editing. You want to polish it to make sure that it is matching the kind of quality that you want to give your audience. Now, there are different approaches to this, and depending upon the craft that you follow, there might be different kinds of or different numbers of iterations that need to happen, right? So that's when you would probably drag from the first draft and you put something into editing, right? Now, again, the key thing here is that you could have multiple cards in multiple stages, right? So it might be that you just drag these three out into the editing phase, but maybe what's happening is, you have one thing that's still, because it still has quite some time, almost a month away from now for mushroom growth, you're going to be leaving it there and you're going to be working on these things. It makes a lot of sense, especially when, like I said, like sudden distractions and upheavals come in. It can get quite challenging, but you always have a bird's eye view of what's happening, so you can move stuff around. Now, building on this, your editing could be in a number of different formats, right? It could be editing your audio, your video, your text, your images, whatever it is. Now, some of you may not necessarily have all the skills that you need to edit your own content, and that's okay. That's okay. That's when what you would want to do is, you would want to add a separate list to say, like, gone for editing, right? So then you would know that, hey, it's been, um, you actually outsource it to your freelancer, your video editor, your audio editor, whatever that is, right? So you want to make sure that you build out the exact mechanism, the exact flow that makes sense for you. Now, remember, this particular template is designed just to help you get like a scaffolding that you could use to go ahead and build off of. We use a similar Trello board in Gigsy, but inside we have a whole host of other things, and we also use a free chat software called Discord internally to help us coordinate all of these things. So you can do that. And once your stuff is done editing, of course, for marketing, you would definitely want to add graphics as well, right? And this, again, we've done a fantastic episode. I'm not calling it fantastic. People who attended it have called it fantastic. Another Gigsy Creator Central webinar on how to use Canva to create really good graphics. So you create that, and let's say that you've actually created something, and how do yeah, go to attachment. I'm going to download something from my computer. Sorry, upload something from my computer. Let's say that I'm going into D&D, and let's say that, okay, this is the image that I want to add, right? And you can see that also pops up. Now, once everything is done, everything is ready to publish, I will move this into ready for publishing. Now, the idea is you want to take the cards from the left, right, from this researching and ideas phase, and you want to constantly keep on moving them, right, from the left to the right. The idea is to have as many things as possible in the ready for publishing place. Now, why is this critical? Life gets in the way, right? That's something that we witnessed when my daughter came running in, but it's also could be that suddenly you fall ill, or your computer conks out, or there are a whole host of litany of different things that could possibly go wrong. So you want to build up a nice strong buffer inside your with you, so that you don't necessarily run out of content before you start panicking. For my podcasts and my videos, I usually have a buffer of about 3 weeks worth of content, so that I can always keep on building that stuff and I can keep it going. Sometimes it might make sense, especially if it's a shorter form thing, such as, let's say, Twitter, or uh, like if you want to post a Facebook update, right? You probably may not need that much of a buffer, but because you want to like piggyback on whatever's happening right now. But for other things which are going to be there for quite some time, like high production value stuff such as audio, video, and long form content, you definitely want to build up a buffer. You do this, and then what you're going to do is it's going to be published. Now, it's with conscious decision that I have distinguished between publishing and distribution. Now, if it's a blog post, you're going to put it up on your blog, or maybe on Medium, right? Or on LinkedIn. If it's an image, you might put it up on Pinterest or on Instagram. And if it is a video, you might put it up on YouTube, right? But you don't stop there. You don't stop there. What you want to be able to do is you want to get this content in front of as many people as possible. And that's why you need the whole distribution phase, right? So once you publish something, you don't just stop it. Then let's say you created that additional content that you can use to, let's say, post it on Facebook, on social media, LinkedIn, whatever you can find your audience, wherever you need to get to do that, you need to go ahead and focus on the distribution. Now, this entire process, right, which starts from researching ideas, creating something as the first draft, moving it into editing, making graphics, making it ready, keeping like a whole bunch of stuff in your buffer, and then publishing and then distribution. This is not something new, okay? This is a tried and tested method that you can always use to go ahead and create a whole bunch of things which are essentially waiting for you and ready for publishing. So when you're building out that calendar, now let's take a look at how that's going to happen, right? I'm going to very quickly add a power up. It's something that you can do in Trello. I highly recommend that you get something known as the calendar power up. And let's see, where is that? Da, 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 da. Ah, there
You
we go.
can search for it. Yeah.
I just found that. Okay. Since it's the free version, I get only one power up, and you can see that this thing's popped up. So now when I go into this, you're going to see something interesting. Remember how we set a deadline for stand-up meetings to be on the 22nd, habits on the 29th, modeling on the 5th, and mushroom growth, right? So here's the thing. You can actually move stuff around now, right? Depending upon when, like if you want to change your due dates or something. And if you want to view the card, you can click on it and you can view it directly in this calendar view. It's quite important that you see all of this in this phase, because let's say that maybe you want your habit stuff to go out on the 30th, right? So you can do some sort of planning. Now obviously there are very, very few items in our sample board right now, right? There are like literally 4 cards with deadlines. But when you add up these due dates, when you add up these deadlines, what can happen is all of these will start popping up. Then maybe what you can do is you can drag stuff around to say that, hey, okay, you know what? I'm going to start posting very regularly from the, let's say that the 19th onwards, right? So I'm going to be needing some stuff that's going out on. Oh, I noticed that there's a gap, right? So you click there and you add a card saying, let's say that we're going to be looking at, what is that thing called? Anthropology. Oh, no, I meant archaeology. This is very scary. I don't know how to spell this word properly. Properly. So please do forgive me, but let's say that I'm adding this here, right? So I've added this, so now I have something. And when I go back into my this thing, I can actually see that, hey, look, archaeology is actually popped up over here, right? You can obviously choose which list a certain card is going to pop up on. So I click on add card. You see this list? You can click on that and you can change all of these things. It's quite simple as that. And that's pretty much it. That's how you need to run your marketing calendar. So using a Trello board gives you these advantages. One is it gives you a scaffolding, a structure for you to follow to start creating your content and keeping track of everything at the level it needs to be. That's number one. Number two is when you work with your deadlines and your due dates, right? So you actually, and on the calendar power up, which is free on Trello, you actually get a very clear understanding of what are the things that are happening on which day. And if you need to, right, you can start moving stuff around. And that makes this a very powerful and versatile tool, right? So you can obviously have multiple items happening on the same day. You can like have scrolling and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. Now, there are a couple of things that you would want to include as a part of your marketing calendar, right? Especially if you're going to be getting somebody else to join your team and then go ahead and use Trello, right? So one could be like a process that you're using for interviewing people. Another could be a video process. Maybe you have an entire folder full of images, like let's say your logo, your text, your approved headshots as your photographs and stuff like that. You want to keep all of those things as important links, which are available for your team to use, or even as a reminder for yourself as well, right? So you can do all of those things on Trello, and this entire template, which is the sample marketing calendar, is going to be available for you to download and copy as well. And we'll be sharing that link as a part of the email that comes up as well. So Vikram, I have essentially concluded what I wanted to talk about when it comes to discussing a marketing calendar, or and how you can use Trello to plan out your entire process. So do you have any questions that you would like me to particularly answer, or is anything else that you want to say?
I think there were a couple of things I wanted to discuss. One was about using the app, right,
Hmm.
which makes it a lot more simpler. If you're not in front of your laptop, you can always use the app,
Hmm.
and you get the same set of functionalities either way.
Hmm.
The second thing is the fact that you can add how many of a lists you want, right? I mean, you need not stick to the same template. You could actually have a smaller set of lists and
Right.
actually have something like a to do, work in progress, and done three different lanes,
Hmm.
and you just move them across the three, right? And
To
but
do, doing, and done, right?
yeah, to do, doing, and done, or to do, work in progress, and done, whatever floats your boat. So
Right.
different ways of doing the same thing, but yeah, that is what it is like. So the tool is very intuitive, very easy to use, and I have seen that it makes for a lot of good showing when we start actually using it. So I would recommend that people use it, and that's how it looks like on the phone. Yeah,
Yep.
so
While you were talking, that's why I was looking
yeah.
down. I'm just swiping to show what's actually it's looking like. So each list also pops up on the what do you call that, on screen, right? And of course, dragging things around is quite easy. So I'm just going to try dragging this card. So I'm pressing and holding, and then I'm going off a little bit to the side, and then now it's gone to the published state as well.
As easy as gulab jamun.
Yeah, I think like I highly recommend Trello, man. It's very, very versatile as a tool, and we don't get paid by Trello to say any of these things, but I highly recommend it. It's a
Yeah,
tool
we
that
are
you
not
can
we
use.
are not under we are not under any affiliate program with Trello.
Maybe we should get into one.
Who knows?
Anyway, so there we go. So that's how it looks
Alrighty,
like.
I hope this makes for a lot of useful work that you guys can put out for your own marketing calendar. It's going to be super fun using Trello, and it will actually keep you on track and give you reminders whenever you need them, especially
Mhm.
when you filled out dates and even the time on that day. So yeah, I hope. it's useful to all creators who use the tool.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's watching this video in the future, you can always go to the resources section on Gigsy, and you can totally get access to this video. Of course, I mean, if you have this video, you know where it is. The description will also be having the link of this video so that you can go ahead and start copying that template and start using it. All right. Good luck.
Cheerio.
Thank you.